Way out in the shadows, far beyond any front line. There are these groups, the world's most elite military units. They're the ghosts, the quiet professionals, who get the call when failure just isn't an option. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at what it really takes to join their ranks.
But what does it actually take to become one of them? Seriously, think about the toughest job interview you could possibly imagine, and then multiply that by, 1,000. That's the neighborhood we're in.
I mean, for a unit like the U.S. Army's legendary Delta Force, the numbers are they're mind-blowing. In a typical selection class, you'll have about 120 of the most qualified soldiers in the world show up. You know how many make it through? Often, fewer than 15. That's a tiny 12.5% pass rate. And listen to this, that's just to get your foot in the door.
And this right here, this is the first thing that connects all of these elite units. A selection process that is absolutely brutal. It's designed to do more than just test your physical limits. It's designed to find your exact breaking point and then see who can still think clearly and make good decisions under that kind of insane stress. For Delta Force, there's this one infamous test they just call the Long Walk. Sounds simple, right? It's a grueling 40-mile march, full pack, rough terrain. And the time limit? It's a secret. Only the instructors know it.
But to really get where this whole idea even came from, we have to go back in time. We have to look at the unit that literally wrote the book on modern special operations, Britain's Special Air Service, the SAS.
So picture this. It's the darkest days of World War II. A guy named David Stirling comes up with this wild idea for daring raids deep behind enemy lines. Their first mission was actually a total disaster, but they learned, they adapted. But what really put them on the map for everyone to see was in 1980, when they stormed the Iranian embassy in London, live on television. Today, their selection course is still the gold standard, with a pass rate of only about 10%.
And you have to understand, the stakes were always life and death. From the very beginning, it wasn't just about the risk of being killed in a firefight. No. If you were captured, Hitler had issued his infamous commando order, which basically meant you were to be executed on the spot. No trial, no POW camp. Just gone.
So, inspired by what the SAS was doing, the United States developed its own ecosystem of elite forces. You always hear about the big three, often in the same breath, but they each have very, very different jobs. So, what's the actual difference between them? Right, so we're talking about the Army's Delta Force, and the Green Berets, and of course, the Navy SEALs. They might all seem pretty similar on the surface, but trust me, their core missions are worlds apart.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, and this slide lays it out perfectly. Think of Delta Force as a scalpel. They're used for super precise, high-stakes surgical strikes against the most valuable targets. Then you have the Green Berets. They're the mentors. Their whole thing is unconventional warfare. That means they go into a country, embed with local forces, learn the language, learn the culture, and train them to fight. They're called force multipliers because one small team can create an entire army. And then you've got the Navy SEALs, the versatile warriors, famous for all kinds of direct action raids.
I mean, come on. When you think of the Navy SEALs, there's one mission that just jumps into everyone's mind, right? Operation Neptune Spear. Back in 2011, it was SEAL Team 6 who flew deep into Pakistan for that daring raid that ended with the death of Osama bin Laden.
Now for the Green Berets. Their legendary moment was forged in the mountains of Afghanistan, right after 9/11. A small team went in, linked up with local anti-Taliban fighters, and, get this, they fought on horseback, using lasers to call in these massive U.S. airstrikes. It sounds like something out of a movie, but it was real, and they helped topple the entire regime in just a few weeks.
So while units like the Green Berets were out there in these far-flung places, a totally different kind of threat was starting to take center stage. The horrific terrorist attack at the 1972 Munich Olympics, that was a massive wake-up call for the entire world. It showed everyone that regular military and police forces were just not equipped for modern hostage situations. It directly led to a whole new breed of elite unit.
And first up, we've got France's legendary National Gendarmerie Intervention Group, better known as the GIGN. These guys are famous all over the world for their incredible precision.
And their most famous operation? It's just unbelievable. In 1994, they stormed a hijacked Air France jetliner, and the whole thing was broadcast live on TV for the world to see. In a matter of minutes, all 4 hijackers were neutralized. And here's the kicker. Every single one of the 173 passengers and crew members survived. That is just a masterclass in how to do a hostage rescue.
Okay, now this is really cool.
What you're seeing here is a GIGN tradition. Every new operator gets a 6-shot revolver. It's not their main weapon or anything. It's a symbol. It's this constant reminder of their whole philosophy: discipline, precision, and using only the force that is absolutely necessary. A reminder that every single shot counts.
Germany, of course, was at the heart of that Munich tragedy, so they knew they needed a response. They created their own legendary unit, GSG-9. Because of some constitutional rules, the German military couldn't operate inside the country, so they created this highly trained police unit for the absolute worst-case scenarios.
And they really proved their worth to the world in 1977 with Operation Fire Magic. A Lufthansa flight gets hijacked, ends up in Somalia. GSG-9 is sent in. While local troops create this big, noisy diversion, the GSG-9 operators silently storm the plane. In just 7 minutes, it was over. All 86 hostages were safe. The world was just blown away by the speed and precision.
All right, let's jump over to Poland and their top-tier unit, GROM. These guys were formed in 1990 and got training from both Delta Force and the SAS, so you know they have an incredible pedigree. They quickly became one of the most respected special forces in all of NATO.
So, their nickname is the Surgeons, and it's not just some cool, tough guy name. It's because on top of all the insane skills it takes to even get into the unit, almost every single GROM operator is also a fully qualified medic. Just let that sink in for a second. An entire unit of elite operators who are also expert lifesavers. That's a level of skill that's almost unheard of. So, we've gone from Britain to Poland, from France to the United States. What's the common thread here? What's the secret sauce that makes these units truly elite? Because it is way, way more than just being in good shape.
So when you boil it all down, what's that shared DNA? Well, it's a few key things. First, it's that brutal, soul-crushing selection process that finds the people who simply do not break. Then, it's the legacy of those defining missions that prove what they can do. It's an unbreakable discipline, whether it's the GIN's 6-shot philosophy or Delta surgical precision. And above all, it's a culture of extreme secrecy, because for every one mission we hear about, there are dozens we never will.
And that kind of brings us to one last thought, doesn't it? We only ever find out about these operations years, sometimes decades, after they happen. So it just makes you wonder, in a world full of complex and hidden threats, what missions are these elite units carrying out right now, completely in the shadows, that the rest of us will never ever know about?